Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel English Achieve. Today's video is very important because it's about something that can completely change your life. The power of choice. You see, life is full of turning points. At every moment, we stand at a crossroads. Sometimes the choice is small, like what to eat for breakfast or what clothes to wear. Other times, the choice is big, like what career to follow, whether to continue a relationship, or how to face a personal struggle. But here is the truth, my friend. Every choice has power. And when you understand the power of choice, you realize that your life is not controlled by luck, not controlled by other people, and not controlled by fate. Your life is shaped by the decisions you make every single day. Think about this. Right now, at this very moment, you are making a choice. You chose to click on this video. You chose to listen. You could have scrolled away. You could have clicked on something else. But you stayed here. That one choice, just one, may seem small, but it could open a door to new understanding, new motivation, and a new life. This is the hidden power of choice. It does not always show itself immediately. But over time, the little choices create big results. So let me give you an interesting thought before we begin. If you make just one better choice every day, something small like reading instead of scrolling, exercising instead of lying down, or practicing English instead of watching random videos, you will have made 365 better choices in 1 year. Imagine where you will be after 1 year of those choices. That is how powerful choice can be. The gift we often ignore. Life gives every single person a special gift. This gift is not money, it is not fame, it is not talent. It is something far more valuable. That gift is the power of choice. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, we are making choices. What time should I wake up? Should I exercise or stay in bed? Should I eat healthy food or junk food? Should I study or waste time scrolling? Every day we are presented with hundreds of decisions. But here is the surprising truth. Most people do not use this gift wisely. They ignore it. They waste it. They hand it over to others. Instead of choosing for themselves, they let fear choose for them. They let laziness choose for them. They let excuses choose for them. Sometimes, they even let other people decide the direction of their lives. And later, when they feel unhappy or stuck, they wonder, why is my life like this? Why can't I move forward? Why am I not where I want to be? The answer is simple. Their lives are a reflection of their choices. When you look at successful people, you will see one clear difference. It is not that they were born smarter. It is not that they were luckier. It is not even that they had more opportunities. The real difference is that they made different choices. They chose discipline over excuses. They chose persistence over quitting. They chose courage over fear. They chose action over waiting. Each of these choices, when repeated over time, built a foundation for their success. Step by step, day by day, their future was shaped by the decisions they made. On the other hand, unsuccessful people often make the opposite choices. They choose comfort instead of growth. They choose easy entertainment instead of hard work. They choose silence instead of speaking up. They choose to wait for the perfect time instead of starting now. And slowly, choice by choice, they trap themselves in a life they do not want. They look around and feel stuck, but they forget that it was their daily choices that created this reality. The truth is this: no one can escape choices. Even when you think you are avoiding a decision, you are still making one. Saying, "I don't want to decide," is itself a decision to let life decide for you. And when you do that, you give away your power. If you choose not to take control of your life, life will control you. If you choose not to lead, then someone else will lead you. If you choose not to think for yourself, then someone else will do the thinking for you. Let's take a simple example. Imagine a student who has an important exam coming up. Every day he faces the same choice: to study or not to study. If he says, "I don't want to decide right now," and spends the evening on his phone, that is still a choice. The exam day will come, and the result will show what choice he made. The universe does not wait. Time does not stop. Life does not pause. Your choices today become your reality tomorrow. This is why ignoring the power of choice is so dangerous. When you ignore it, you are still making choices, but usually the wrong ones. You are choosing by default. You are choosing laziness, distraction, and delay. And slowly, those choices become habits. Habits become your character. And your character creates your destiny. Now think about successful people again. They are not perfect. They do not always make the best choices. But the key difference is that they are aware. They understand that every choice matters. They treat each decision as a step toward the life they want. That awareness gives them power. The good news is this: it is never too late to take back control. You can start today. No matter what choices you made yesterday, you can make a new choice right now. You can choose to change. You can choose to grow. You can choose to stop letting fear, laziness, and excuses run your life. But here's the challenge. You must stay awake. You must pay attention. You must remind yourself every day that your choices are powerful. If you do not, you will fall asleep again and let life make decisions for you. And life, if left uncontrolled, usually leads to regret. So, my dear friend, ask yourself, who is making my choices? Is it me? Or is it fear? Is it me? Or is it laziness? Is it me? Or is it the opinions of others? The answer to this question will determine the direction of your life. Because in the end, life is simply a collection of choices. The life you are living right now is the result of the choices you made in the past. And the life you will live in the future depends on the choices you make today. Do not waste this gift. Do not ignore it. Your power lies not in what you cannot control, but in the choices you can control. Every time you choose discipline, you grow stronger. Every time you choose persistence, you get closer to your dreams. Every time you choose courage, you open a new door. And every time you choose action, you take one more step toward the life you deserve. The gift of choice is in your hands. Use it wisely. A story of two brothers. Let me tell you a simple but powerful story. It is about two brothers, John and David. They grew up in the same small house, in the same poor neighborhood, and went to the same school. Their father was an alcoholic. Their mother struggled to provide food and clothes for them. Many nights, they went to bed hungry. Their family was known in the community for problems. Neighbors often shook their heads and said, "Those boys will never achieve anything. Their father drinks too much. Their home is broken. Their future is already destroyed." At first, it seemed like the neighbors were right. Life was very hard for John and David. They often felt embarrassed by their father. They felt ashamed when other children laughed at them. But here is the interesting part. Even though they shared the same home and the same pain, they made different choices about how to respond. John looked at his father and thought, "This is my life. This is who I am. There is no way out. Slowly, he started to follow the same path. He began drinking at a young age. He stopped caring about school. He spent his time with friends who also had no dreams. When teachers told him to study, he said, "What's the point? Life is unfair. People like me cannot succeed." His choice was to give up before even trying. David, however, thought differently. He looked at his father and said, "I do not want this life. I do not want to suffer like this forever. I will not allow my family's past to control my future." He made a strong decision. He would study harder. He would work harder. He would fight for a better life. He began spending more time in the library. He found small jobs after school to help his mother. When his friends invited him to drink, he refused. He said, "No, I have bigger dreams." His choice was to rise instead of fall. Years went by. The choices they made began to show results. John became addicted to alcohol, just like his father. He could not keep a job. He argued with people around him. His health began to break down. Life became harder and harder for him. On the other hand, David's story was completely different. He finished school. He went to college. He built a career and became respected in his community. He took care of his mother and gave her the comfort she never had before. He lived a healthy, happy, and stable life. Now here comes the most surprising part. When people asked them the same question, "Why did you end up this way?" they both gave the exact same answer. "Because of my father." Think about that for a moment. Two brothers, same house, same father, same struggles, yet two very different outcomes. One said, "I became broken because of my father." The other said, "I became strong because of my father." The difference was not in their circumstances. The difference was in their choices. This story teaches us something very powerful. Your past does not decide your future. Your environment does not decide your destiny. Even your family background does not decide who you must become. What truly decides your future are the choices you make every single day. Too often, people use their past as an excuse. They say, "I cannot succeed because my family was poor." They say, "I cannot be happy because my childhood was painful." They say, "I cannot grow because I was not given opportunities." But then, there are other people just like David, who use the very same past as motivation. They say, "Because my family was poor, I will work harder." They say, "Because my childhood was painful, I will build a better life for my children." They say, "Because I had few opportunities, I will create my own." The lesson is clear. It is not the situation that controls you. It is the choice you make about the situation. You can look at difficulty as a prison, or you can look at difficulty as a teacher. You can allow your past to hold you down, or you can use your past as fuel to rise higher. So, my dear friend, ask yourself, how are you using your challenges? Are you using them as excuses to stay the same, like John? Or are you using them as motivation to change your life, like David? Remember this truth. You cannot always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your response. And that response, repeated day after day, becomes your future. The story of John and David proves it. Two brothers, two different lives. One difference: choice. Small choices create big change. When we think about life transformation, we often imagine huge turning points. We think about one big decision that changes everything: moving to a new country, quitting a job, starting a business, or finding the perfect opportunity. But the truth is, life does not usually change in one big dramatic moment. Life changes slowly, step by step, through the small daily choices we make. Big results are simply the product of small actions, repeated consistently over time. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two people who both want to lose weight and become healthier. The first person says, "I will start on Monday." He keeps delaying. Monday comes, and he says, "Maybe next week. Right now, I am too busy." He convinces himself that the time is not right. Weeks pass, months pass, a whole year passes, and nothing changes. His health remains the same, or maybe even worse. His problem is not lack of desire. His problem is that he waits for the perfect moment and never begins. The second person takes a different approach. He understands that waiting for Monday or waiting for the right time is just an excuse. So he decides to start today, not with something huge, but with something small. He says, "Instead of soda, I will drink water." The next day, he makes another small decision. "I will walk for 10 minutes. The day after that, another choice. "I will eat an apple instead of a candy bar." These actions seem tiny, almost unimportant. But when you add them up, they begin to change his health, his energy, and his confidence. After 1 year, he is transformed, not because of one big choice, but because of many small ones. This is the secret many people do not realize. Small choices, repeated daily, create massive results over time. Success is not built in a single day. It is built in daily actions that compound, like drops of water filling a bucket. You may not notice the change today. You may not notice it tomorrow. But one day, you will look back and be amazed at how far you have come because of the power of your small daily choices. Think about it like this. If you eat one unhealthy meal, nothing happens. If you skip one workout, nothing happens. But if you repeat those small negative choices every day for months and years, the result is clear. You become weaker, unhealthier, and less confident. On the other hand, if you make one healthy choice today, it may not show results immediately. But if you continue to make those healthy choices every day, over time your body changes, your energy grows, and your life improves. Small choices can either build your life up or tear it down. This principle is not only true in health, it applies to every area of life. If you want to improve your English, reading just 5 pages of a book every day may not seem like much. But in 1 year, you will have read more than 1,800 pages, the size of several full books. That simple daily choice will make your English stronger, your vocabulary larger, and your confidence higher. If you want financial stability, saving a small amount of money each week may not feel powerful at first. But over time, those savings grow. They build security, they create options, and they give you peace of mind. Again, it is the small, consistent choices that bring the big results. If you want stronger relationships, one kind word or one small act of love each day may feel simple. But over time, those small acts build trust, respect, and deep connection. Relationships grow stronger not from one grand gesture, but from daily attention and care. The problem is that people often ignore small choices. They say, "It doesn't matter if I skip today." It's just one day, they say. "It doesn't matter if I waste 1 hour." It's just 1 hour. They say, "It doesn't matter if I eat this one unhealthy meal." It's just one meal. But what they do not realize is that small choices accumulate. One day becomes 2 days. One excuse becomes a habit. And before they know it, they are living a life shaped by neglect. On the other hand, People who succeed respect small choices. They know that small actions matter, even if no one notices. They know that consistency is more powerful than intensity. They know that it is better to do a little bit every day than to do a lot once in a while and then quit. So, the question for you is this: what small choices are you making today? Are they leading you closer to your goals or further away? Are they building your future or breaking it? Remember, every small choice is like planting a seed. If you plant seeds of discipline, patience, and effort, your life will grow into something beautiful. If you plant seeds of laziness, excuses, and delay, your life will grow into something full of regret. You do not need to wait for a big breakthrough. You do not need to wait for the perfect time. You only need to start with one small choice today. Drink water, read a page, walk a few steps, speak a kind word, save a little money. These actions may look small, but they are powerful because they multiply over time. So, my dear friend, do not underestimate the power of small choices. They may look ordinary today, but they create extraordinary results tomorrow. One day you will look back and realize that the big change in your life was never the result of one dramatic decision. It was the result of the small choices you made every single day. Choice and responsibility. Now, my friend, we arrive at one of the most difficult truths about life. If you accept that you have the power of choice, then you must also accept something else: responsibility. Many people like the idea of having freedom. They like the idea of choosing their future. But when it comes to responsibility, they step back. Responsibility feels heavy. It feels uncomfortable. Yet without it, your choices mean nothing. You cannot say, "My life is bad because of them," or "I failed because of him," or "I am unhappy because of her." Those words may feel comforting for a moment, but they are dangerous. Why? Because every time you blame others, you are giving away your power. You are saying, "I am not in control." They are. And when you give away your control, you lose the ability to change. But when you take responsibility, everything changes. You begin to say, "My life is a reflection of my choices. If I want a different life, I must make different choices." This mindset is powerful. It puts the steering wheel of life back in your hands. You may not control the road, the weather, or the traffic, but you do control how you drive. The truth is, many people are afraid of responsibility. They find it easier to blame their parents, their boss, the government, their friends, or even bad luck. Blaming feels safe because it removes the weight of accountability. But here's the problem. Blame also removes your strength. When you blame, you become a victim. And victims wait for rescue. But life is not a movie, and the rescue does not come. If you want a better future, you cannot wait for someone else to save you. You must take responsibility and save yourself. Let's imagine two students. Both fail the same exam. The first student says, "This is the teacher's fault. The questions were unfair. The school is terrible. I hate this system." With this attitude, he closes the door to growth. He learns nothing from the failure. He will likely fail again. The second student also feels upset, but he says, "Yes, the exam was hard. But maybe I did not prepare enough. Maybe I wasted time on my phone instead of studying. Next time, I will change my habits. I will study earlier. I will ask more questions." By taking responsibility, he gives himself the power to improve. The same event, failure, but two completely different outcomes because of how each one handled responsibility. Now think about this. No one can control your attitude except you. People can be rude, but they cannot force you to be bitter. People can try to insult you, but they cannot control whether you hold on to anger or let it go. People can block your path, but they cannot stop you from finding another way. The one thing that always belongs to you is your response. That is your ultimate freedom. When you understand this, life becomes lighter. Problems will still come, but you will stop wasting energy on blaming others. Instead, you will ask, what can I do now? How can I respond? What choice can I make that moves me forward? This shift turns frustration into action, and action brings change. Think about successful people you admire. Do you believe they lived without problems? Of course not. They faced failure, pain, and rejection like everyone else. The difference was that they did not stay in blame. They did not keep pointing fingers. They took responsibility for their reactions, their learning, and their next step. And that responsibility gave them the power to rise above their challenges. Here's a small story. A man once lost his job. Instead of looking for another, he spent months blaming his old boss. He said, "If my boss wasn't unfair, I would still have my job." He grew bitter, but he never grew better. Another man lost his job at the same time. He was also angry at first, but then he said, "What can I do with this situation? How can I improve my skills?" He took responsibility, learned something new, and soon found a better opportunity. The same event, two different choices, two different futures. This is why responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. It may feel heavy, but it is also empowering. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for life to be fair. You stop waiting for people to treat you perfectly. You stop waiting for the world to give you opportunities. Instead, you create opportunities through your choices. So, my dear friend, I want you to remember this. The world may not always be fair, but you always have a choice. You cannot choose your past, but you can choose your future. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. Responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything. It is about owning your power to respond and to change. When you embrace responsibility, you take back control of your life. You step out of victimhood and step into leadership. You say, yes, life is not perfect. Yes, challenges exist. But I still have the power to choose my response. And my response will shape my destiny. That is the freedom and the strength that responsibility gives you. How to make better choices. So, how do we actually make better choices in life? This is the real question. Knowing that choices matter is important, but knowledge alone is not enough. You must learn how to apply it. You need practical steps that you can use starting today. The good news is this: making better choices is not complicated. It does not require genius or luck. It requires awareness, patience, and discipline. Let's go through some powerful steps together. 1. Pause before you decide. Most people make choices too quickly. They act on impulse. They feel an emotion and immediately react. They feel hungry and grab junk food. They feel bored and open social media. They feel angry and say something they later regret. This type of living is automatic, not thoughtful. And when you live automatically, you often create problems for yourself. Wise people, however, understand the importance of the pause. They know that even a short moment of reflection can save years of regret. When you are about to make a decision, stop. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, if I make this choice, what will happen tomorrow? What will happen next week? What will happen a year from now? That small pause allows your mind to step in and guide you, instead of letting your emotions control you. Think about someone about to quit their job in anger. In the heat of the moment, leaving feels good. But if they paused and thought, what will this mean for my bills, my family, my future? They might act differently. A pause creates space for wisdom. Remember, regret often comes from rushing, but peace often comes from patience. 2. Ask, does this bring me closer to my goal? Every single choice you make is like a step. Each step moves you either closer to your goal or further away from it. Imagine you want to be healthy. If you choose soda over water, that step takes you away from health. If you choose water over soda, that step moves you closer to health. Imagine you want to save money. If you spend carelessly on things you don't need, you are walking away from your financial goal. But if you save or invest, you are walking toward it. Before making a decision, train yourself to ask, will this bring me closer to the person I want to be? Will this move me in the direction of my dream? If the answer is no, then don't do it. This question is powerful because it keeps your future self in mind. It forces you to think long-term instead of short-term. Remember, big success is nothing more than many small decisions pointing in the same direction. One bad choice may not ruin your life, and one good choice may not change it instantly, but repeated choices compound over time. If you want to reach your destination, you must make sure your daily steps are leading you there. 3. Choose discipline over comfort. Here lies one of the greatest secrets of success. Growth is never easy. Success is never easy. But comfort is dangerous. Easy choices often create hard lives, while hard choices create easier lives in the future. For example, it is easy to sleep late, but the result is tiredness, poor performance, and missed opportunities. It is hard to wake up early, but the result is energy, focus, and productivity. It is easy to eat junk food, but the result is poor health. It is hard to eat clean, but the result is strength and confidence. When faced with the decision, ask yourself, am I choosing comfort or am I choosing discipline? Comfort may feel good in the moment, but discipline feels good for a lifetime. Discipline builds character, builds confidence, and builds results. Every time you choose discipline, you invest in your future. And here's the truth. One day, the disciplined life becomes the comfortable life, because discipline builds freedom. Think of an athlete. Waking up early, training hard, following strict routines, it all looks painful. But later, that same athlete enjoys freedom, health, strength, achievement, and opportunity. Meanwhile, the person who chose comfort suffers: poor health, limited energy, and regret. Which life do you want? The answer depends on the choices you make today. 4. Learn from past choices. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has moments when they look back and say, I should have chosen differently. But here's the difference between wise people and foolish people. The wise person learns from their mistakes, while the foolish person repeats them. Failure is not the end. It is feedback. Every poor choice carries a lesson. The question is, will you listen? If you made a bad financial decision, learn from it so you don't repeat it. If you trusted the wrong person, learn how to set better boundaries. If you wasted time on distractions, learn to create better habits. Many people waste their failures by ignoring the lesson. They repeat the same choices again and again, wondering why nothing changes. Don't let that be you. Respect your past by learning from it. Write down what went wrong. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Then make a clear decision not to repeat the same mistake. Growth comes when you use yesterday's pain as wisdom for tomorrow's choice. 5. Protect your daily choices. The truth is, the most powerful choices are not the big ones. They are the small daily choices. What time you wake up, what you eat for breakfast, how much time you spend scrolling on your phone, whether you read a book or watch meaningless videos, who you spend your time with. These small daily choices shape your future more than anything else. Think of your daily choices as seeds. You plant them every day. Some seeds grow into success, health, and happiness. Others grow into laziness, regret, and failure. The choice of which seeds you plant is yours. Over time, these small decisions create the garden of your life. Protect your daily choices as if they are treasures, because they are. Be intentional. Wake up with purpose. Plan your day. Ask yourself, what small choices can I make today that will serve me tomorrow? When you protect your daily choices, you protect your future. Final thought on better choices. My dear friend, making better choices is not about being perfect. It is about being aware. It is about slowing down, asking the right questions, choosing discipline, learning from mistakes, and protecting your daily habits. These steps may seem small, but together, they create a powerful system for success. Remember this truth. Your destiny is not built in one day. It is built every day. And every day is shaped by your choices. If you want a better future, start today by making one better choice. Then make another tomorrow. Over time, those choices will create a life you are proud of. The freedom of choice. Many people believe freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. At first, this sounds attractive. You might think freedom means eating anything, sleeping whenever, spending money without limits, saying whatever comes to your mind, or following every feeling you have. But is that real freedom? Think carefully. If you are eating anything you want, but your health suffers, are you free? Or are you trapped by your appetite? If you say whatever you want without thinking, and you destroy relationships, are you free? Or are you a prisoner of your emotions? If you spend money without discipline, and later you are drowning in debt, is that freedom? Or is that slavery to bad habits? Real freedom is very different. Real freedom is not about following every desire. Real freedom is about being able to choose what is right, even when it is not easy. It is about saying, I will not let my emotions control me. I will not let my habits control me. I will not let other people control me. I will control myself. That is true freedom. Think of someone addicted to smoking. They may say, I smoke because I am free to do what I want. But in reality, they are not free. The cigarette is in control. Their body and mind are controlled by a habit. They are not choosing anymore. The addiction is choosing for them. Now think of a person who has the same temptation but says, no, I will not smoke. I will choose health over addiction. That person is free. Why? Because they are in control of themselves. They are not a slave to a habit. This is why choice is the greatest power every human being has. Circumstances may be unfair. You may not have control over where you were born, who your parents are, or what difficulties you face. You may not control the economy, the weather, or other people. But there is always one thing you can control: your choice. You can choose your attitude. You can choose your response. You can choose your effort. and that power can never be taken away from you. History gives us many examples. Think of people who lived in terrible conditions, war, poverty, even prison. Many of them still found strength and hope because they chose their response. There are stories of prisoners who had no physical freedom, yet they lived with inner freedom. How? By choosing to keep their mind strong, their heart hopeful, and their spirit unbroken. This shows us that freedom is not only about the outside world. Freedom begins inside, with your choices. The truth is, every time you make a choice, you are either giving away your freedom or strengthening it. When you say, "I can't control myself," you give your freedom away. But when you say, "I will discipline myself," you take your freedom back. Freedom is not found in avoiding responsibility. It is found in accepting responsibility. Because when you accept responsibility, you realize, my life is mine. My choices shape my future. No one else is in charge of me. Think about how this applies to daily life. If you wake up late every day and waste hours scrolling on your phone, you are not free. Your time is being stolen by distraction. But if you choose to wake up early, plan your day, and focus on your goals, you are free. Why? Because you are in control of your time. If you let anger explode whenever someone annoys you, you are not free. You are a prisoner of anger. But if you learn to stay calm, breathe, and respond wisely, you are free. Freedom is not found in following impulses. It is found in controlling them. This is why some people who look free from the outside are deeply trapped on the inside. And some people who look restricted from the outside are actually the freest of all. A disciplined person may follow strict routines, but they are free. They are not slaves to laziness or bad habits. They are in control. A person who avoids responsibility may say, "I'm free," but in reality, they are stuck. Stuck in poverty, stuck in weakness, stuck in regret. So, my friend, here is the lesson. True freedom is not the absence of rules. True freedom is the ability to create your own rules and follow them. It is the ability to choose wisely, even when it is hard. It is the power to design your future through the small choices you make every day. Ask yourself today, am I really free? Or am I being controlled by fear, by anger, by addiction, by other people's opinions? If you are controlled by these things, then you are not truly free. But the good news is this: you can take your freedom back. How? By making better choices, one step at a time. By choosing discipline over comfort. By choosing courage over fear. By choosing responsibility over excuses. No one else can do this for you. Freedom is personal. It begins in your mind, in your heart, in your daily actions. And once you understand this, once you begin to live this way, you will experience a life of strength, peace, and power. Because true freedom is not about doing everything. It is about choosing the right things. And that choice is yours. Final words for you. My dear friend, I want you to remember something simple but powerful. Your life is the sum of your choices. Every step you take, every habit you follow, every decision you make is building the story of your future. If you want a better future, then you must begin by making better choices today. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment does not exist. Do not wait for luck, because luck is unreliable. Do not wait for others to change, because they may never change. Your power is not in waiting. Your power is in acting now. Choose to learn, even when it feels difficult. Choose to grow, even when growth feels uncomfortable. Choose to rise every time you fall, Because falling is not failure, it is part of the journey. Choose to keep going when the road gets hard, because perseverance is the path to success. And above all, choose to believe in yourself, even when the world doubts you. The voices of others may say you cannot do it, but your own voice can say, "Yes, I can." Here on English Achieve, we remind you that success, happiness, and growth are not accidents. They are results of the choices you make every single day. Whether big or small, each choice is like a seed planted in the soil of your future. Plant wisely, and your life will bloom with strength, confidence, and peace. So, my dear friend, the power of choice is already in your hands. You don't need to search for it. You don't need to wait for it. It has always been there. The only question left is this: what will you choose today?